Here live with William Spear and William Boardman.
Did I sit over here somewhere?
Sure.
You don't want me in the picture.
Oh no, a little bit. Yeah, we want you in the picture because we're recording your story here.
I'm actually recorded. Let's see, I'll sit right here. I should get my helmet on. Put my helmet on.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't have
Okay, William.
one in the lake.
When you ejected from the plane, was it like when you landed in the water? Was it kind of cold or?
Well, when I ejected from the plane, I was at 20,000 feet, and it took me probably 4 or 5, maybe 6, 8 minutes to get. I free fell to 10,000 feet when the chute opened, with the automatic chutes, and so the lake was about 8,000. So I was in the chute for 5 or 10 minutes. So I sort of got myself organized and things, and I went in the water, and yes, it was very cold.
Okay.
Very cold, 50 degrees. But I don't recall it being cold at all. I don't even recall being in the water. So go ahead.
Did you try to land on Wizard Island when you like?
No, it was impossible. You cannot. That airplane you cannot land with a dead engine.
Okay.
You can, but very few people have done it successfully.
Okay.
And the rule in the Navy is they don't advise anybody trying to dead stick that in. One guy in my reserve squadron did, and he did a beautiful job, and he walked away quite fine. But you have to be, in order to get that airplane on the deck, you have to be 35,000 feet over the runway and shut everything down. It takes that much altitude. That airplane will lose 35,000 feet in a 360-degree turn with no power. So, and you're coming down a horrendous rate, sink rate, and to judge when to stop that sink rate, you have to be going 300 miles an hour and you have to slow down. And when, in order to stop that, you've got a sink rate of probably 6,000 to 8,000 feet a minute. And when you try to stop that sink rate, to try to stop it just perfectly, is not likely to happen.
Do you know what happened to the fuel tank? Like how the fuel got loose? How it?
Yes, I know exactly what happened. The airplane did not go in the lake. It crashed in the trees. And they sent an accident investigation team up, and we went to the accident the next day. And we found the wreckage. And in the wreckage there was a fuel line about this big around that had broken. And it was pumping fuel over the side at 6 pounds per square inch at a horrendous rate. I probably lost, maybe 800 gallons of fuel in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. So we knew, we found out where the fuel leak was and why the fuel leak had happened. The question is, why did the fuel line break? And it was metal fatigue. The airplane had just come off of 2 weeks of carrier familiarization cruise, and it had experienced a lot of carrier landings very hard on the airplane, and it probably started its crack then, and the crack just happened to break when I was over Oregon.
Were you scared?
I can't say that I was ever scared, no. I can say that I was concerned, because my concern was going in the water. Because there are a lot of stories, horror stories of people going in the water and the chute coming down on top of them. And I know I'm going to be in this bowl, so there's not going to be much wind at lake level. That rim is about 2,000 feet from the water to the top of the rim. Have you been there?
No, I haven't been there.
Okay, well, you're going to go there soon. So I figured there wouldn't be much breeze on the lake. And I thought that chute's going to come right down on top of me. So my concern was getting out of the chute and away from the chute as quickly as possible. The other concern that I had was when they say you don't want to disconnect from the chute until your feet are wet. Because when you're hanging over something at 1,000 feet, you cannot have any idea what the depth is. Particularly if it's calm and there's no waves, there's nothing to give you any 3D measurement to gauge the depth. So I dropped my helmet at, I don't know what altitude, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 feet, And it took the helmet a long time for it to hit the lake. And I was like, geez, I'm glad I did that. So I waited till I was practically in the water. And we had these quick disconnect fittings on you wear a torso harness. You don't strap into a parachute like they did in World War II. You climb it and you go all these things up. You wear a corset. And that parachute hooks onto the corset. And there are 4 attach points, 2 around your hips and 2 up here. The chute's attached to your shoulders, and your seatbelt is attached to the ones around your hips. So when you're out of the chute, the only thing that's holding the chute on are these 2 quick disconnects, and they're called rocket jet fittings. You hit them, you squeeze them, and they go. So I could have released them in the air and then fallen free of the chute, but I had this concern about altitude. So I went in the water. One of the rocket jets did not release. So I went under, I had a life vest on, inflated the life vest, go in the water, and one of them did not release, and the chute was still blossoming. It was being blown towards shore. So I just stayed hooked up, got in my raft, and I was being pulled to shore about the time that I thought this chute might get me all the way to shore. And before I got there, it collapsed. And about that time is when I first saw the Forest Park Service boat. So I was in the water probably, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. And and your question was I scared? And no, I wasn't scared in the least. I had complete confidence in my gear, in my training, and if I had given ejecting a second thought, another minute, I wouldn't have been over the lake. And the lake was a godsend. It was there because it was there. And it could well have saved my bacon. You know what your bacon is? Your butt.
This is my last question. What was the name of the other pilot?
Dave Best.
Dave Best. All right.
And he made several passes over the lake. And there's an Air Force base in Klamath Falls, or there was at the time. So we were headed to the Klamath Falls Air Force Base. And he radios in, there's all this commotion's going on in my ejection. He radios in and saying, I'm 30 miles out for landing. He said, the field is closed, we have construction going on the runway. So no, all right, this is not good. So he diverted to Stead Air Force Base in Reno. And he lands in Reno. He's supposed to land into the wind. He lands downwind on any runway he can get. He said, I've got an emergency, I'm coming in, I have no fuel, I'm just taking whatever I got. And they cleared the field, and he landed, and he didn't, he may have flamed out on the runway, I don't know, but he was very lucky to have not ejected himself. But the funny thing happened to Dave Best. It was not so funny. Several years later, he was in a Navy airplane and he hit a mountain. And no one to this day can figure out how he could have hit that mountain. It was a clear day, and he's too good of a pilot for it to happen. He flew for TWA when he got out of the Navy, and he was an excellent pilot. So to this day, we don't know what happened.
Thank you so much.
Now, what is this book report? Is it a book report or is it just a story? You have to create a story.
It's not a story